Now our oaths are lost, forsaken. And you must face the monsters our sins have borne.
Guys, I really wanted to like Avowed, but with the crashes, the broken quests, and the flat-out game-breaking bugs, I cannot recommend the game in its current state. It's like when Obsidian first announced Avowed, I was so excited. It looked like this epic dark fantasy, but as the trailers came out, as more gameplay was revealed, it looked like it strayed too far from that original ambition, and I'm letting y'all know from playing this game, that original trailer is nothing like the current state of the game. I'll dive into why in a second, but I don't care about this main quest line, I don't care about the companions, the side quests are boring, the bonus content is boring, I'm all around pretty shocked. I wanted this to be the spiritual successor to Skyrim, because who knows when Elder Scrolls 6 is actually going to come out, but this game just has some huge flaws and massive controversies that it's kind of sickening to talk about. So let's dive right into it and figure out what went wrong with Avowed, and can it even be saved. The moment Avowed became a battleground for ideological warfare, I knew it was over. I knew this game was cooked. I think it all started with art director Matt Hansen. So I think he's a little bit too online. He had these massive tirades against Elon Musk, and he was calling gamers like chuds and everything. And I feel like regardless of whatever you believe politically, you shouldn't be attacking your customer base, especially like in times like these. When your studio needs a big win, I think it's a terrible idea to just go and attack any type of fan you would even have for the game, especially when you need this game to be a win for your studio, because this was not it. Maybe if you spent less time on Twitter and more time coming up with a cooler art direction, the game would be prettier to look at, but this game is not it. The character designs are not it. Hey everyone, I just wanted to cut in here and say that 98% of you aren't subscribed, and I want to keep making these top 10 out of 10 videos, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Thank you. So after his tirades just became an absolute feeding frenzy, it was the woke versus the right. Everyone was arguing, it fractured the fan base. The Steam forums were erupting with debates. You know, they included pronouns I refused to buy. Oh, they're not including enough pronouns. The game, doesn't like us. Both arguments were weak, but it didn't do anything to help the game. But Hansen's social media posts revealed a far darker issue going on. And quite frankly, that is racism. He said he was not going to hire crusty white dudes, and he flagged Elon Musk under the Civil Rights Act. It was a very, very, very strange situation. Chris Avalon, who used to work at Obsidian, urged rejected applicants to sue because the bias was poisoning the studio's hiring process. And I myself am a man of color, so I don't really have a dog in this fight, but you can't just be going over and saying you're not going to hire someone due to their skin color. I don't want to be treated like that, and I'm sure others don't want to be treated like that either. Especially in the field like video games, where the churn of developers is so high right now. You need all the talent you can get. Good talent, especially. And it was clear that this game did not have that. And when it goes so far to invite in, legal jeopardy, that is just another insane situation. Why would you put your studio in that position? Log the fuck off Twitter at that point. The CEO of Obsidian didn't say anything. Internal emails were telling people to let it blow over. And so when your art director's rants overshadow your game's launch, in my opinion, you've already lost. You're already fighting gamers who don't want to play your game after the deceptive trailers. So now we're going to dive into this next chapter. Technical ambition versus reality. Going back to that original Unreal Engine 5 trailer, it dazzled us. It pulled us in and it said, oh my gosh, this is a dark fantasy game that we've truly wanted for a long time. But with the game's release, even players with the RTX 4050 GPU were facing stuttering problems, frame rate drops. The Xbox Series S users endured I think a 720p resolution drop. The Outer Worlds, compared to this, was a pretty polished game. Now, this game is obviously bigger than the Outer Worlds, but you think they would learn the lessons from that game and push them over to this one to make it run pretty smoothly. And the truth is, the world feels only half built. The Living Land was hyped as a vibrant open world, but it feels completely disjointed. The areas don't really connect. It's like a semi-open world with different hubs, and it just doesn't feel good to play. The dungeons are lazy. I feel like there's not that Skyrim, oh, there's a trap there that you had no idea about. It's like a homage that completely fails. It's trying to stand on its own while harking back to better games. I don't know much about the Pillars of Eternity lore, but I know that it has extensive, rich storytelling in it. I've seen that from the fans and the forum posts, And this story doesn't feel like that. It doesn't want me to go seek out more Pillars of Eternity content. So let's dive into this next chapter, which is the storytelling. The game leans hard into an "are we the baddies" narrative that just isn't hitting, especially with today's current political issues with Israel and Palestine. You're playing as this envoy who's colonizing this land, you're from this massive empire, and it sounds cool on paper. Maybe you can intimidate some NPCs, maybe you can use that to your advantage, and you really can't. The NPCs just spit on you for being a godlike, which is what the main character is. You were touched by a deity, and so you have these markings on your face. You can turn them off because they all look pretty bad, but you can still have the NPCs react to you. And so you're getting this anti-colonial messaging, which could actually hit hard nowadays, but compared to the themes of Skyrim or Fallout New Vegas, it's just not hitting the same way. Your companions, Kai, Gatia, Yatzili, they all had potential in the marketing, but their backstories are bone dry. They're glossed over. They join the party after a single conversation. It devolves them into basic combat tools rather than characters you grow to care about. In my playthrough, I barely remember their names. It's different completely from when I was playing Mass Effect, from when I was playing Fallout New Vegas, or Knights of the Old Republic 1 or 2. The game just feels soulless. It's bland. It plays it safe. It plays it condescending. There is one little quip that happens. "Oh, you're the bad guy. Why the Veilguard is fractured. It's all because of you." This game is completely soulless from its inception to playing it. I have never been more bored playing an RPG. Compare this game to the absolutely stellar game that is Baldur's Gate 3, and it's a night and day difference in characters alone. Obsidian's trademark wit has been completely and utterly replaced by lectures, and it plagues the entire storytelling. I don't care that this is a metaphor for societal decay. Your little metaphor is landing with the subtlety of a sledgehammer. And right now, we need good writing for games. All the great studios that have fantastic writing take basically 10 years to even put out a game. So anywhere in between that, I'm grounging and scrounging for a new story that excites me. And Avowed is not that game. And that makes me so sad, because I don't know if Microsoft needs to step in and fire the writers and bring in some new people. I'm not sure. But at this point, Obsidian is no longer in charge when it comes to writing the best RPGs possible. And that brings us to the real tragedy. It isn't Avowed. It is Obsidian itself. It looks like Chris Avellone saw the writing on the wall. And yes, Chris Avellone was canceled. And I understand that his lawsuit is over, and I think they settled. But it's very obvious to me that he is not with that studio because what we have seen happen. They would rather let things blow over than go out and apologize to gamers. Say, "Hey, this art director doesn't speak for us. Please buy our game. We have fired him. We've put him on leave. We've put him in HR training." Just something to appease the fan base. It feels like ideology has trumped creativity, and I'm so tired of seeing that. All I desperately want is to have a studio come out there and make games that I love. I am so tired of people pushing the agenda that games are failing, that games are woke. But when you see something like Avowed that is so safe and corporate, you can't help but say, well, you know what? There has to be some type of validity to these statements. And it truly crushes me because I love playing video games. And there are so many good games out there, but I need these bigger games with these bigger budgets to start appeasing not to everyone, but to the core fan base, to gamers. So to round this all up, call it lessons from the wreckage. Avowed's failure isn't just about a bad game. It's the symptom of the industry losing touch with its audience. It's ideology over gameplay. It's negligent oversight. It's developers' unchecked egos, and it's all created a toxic cocktail that has absolutely ruined this game. But maybe, just maybe, the backlash and the low sales will push this up and say, you know what? We need to make games that are art, not propaganda. We need to make games that connect with an audience first before we start pushing new ideas. as for Obsidian, I feel like they're at a crossroads. To survive, this game is going to have to sell well, so maybe Xbox Game Pass can push it up and keep them afloat. But I'm telling you right now, if this game flops and the Outer Wild 2 flops, Obsidian as a studio might just be done for. So thank you for watching, y'all. I hope you enjoyed your meal.